Ever wonder why some properties seems to skyrocket in values while others barely budge? Let's review the mystery behind real estate valuation and discover the factors that shape the real estate property prices. Before I start, my name is Bojie He, your local Bay Area real estate agent. A lot of people have asked me, how does real estate value appreciation works? What needs to be done in order to see appreciation of my property value? This is exactly what I'm going to talk about in today's video to give you a basic understanding of how real estate market works. If you like this type of topic, let me know and like and subscribe to my channel for more real estate content. And now let's get started. Typically, there are three ways to value a property. For residential properties, the comparable sales analysis is what's commonly used. And for commercial properties, it's the cap rate and income analysis. And for a specific purpose property, we typically use a building or construction cost analysis to look at the cost of building such a property. Now, we're not going to get into the weeds of how these methodologies work. What I like to show you is, at a high level, what are some of the economic factors that could affect the values of all properties at a high level. And I like to break them down into three categories. One is the global factors, which is going to affect everything in a country or in the world. It's going to affect every real estate market. And then there's going to be the local economic factors, which is only going to affect every property in one city or one local area. And then there's going to be the specific individual factors, which is only happening for that specific property. I'm going to break down these key factors so that you can make better decisions before buying or investing a real property for the first time. So, number one, inflation, which is a global factor. Now, we can argue about this over and over, but there's no denying that inflation is the number one cost to any long-term price increase, real estate included. Remember, in a free market economy, consumer spending is tied to their purchasing power, and the purchasing power is directly as a result of the average income of the local consumers. One of the key results of inflation is the increase of minimum wage. And therefore, everybody's making more money. And that's how food price goes up, gas price goes up, the rent goes up, and the cost of building a home goes up too. So with inflation being a global economic factor, it'll make property value go up inevitably. Now, look at home price of most of the developed countries in the last 20 years. They're all gone up due to inflation. And of course, as a result, everything else goes up too. So you don't suddenly become wealthier just because your home is worth more now due to the increase of cost of living. However, imagine if you don't own a home and now you have to pay higher rent, higher grocery bills, higher gas price. That would really suck. So for this reason, real estate is always one of the greatest ways to hedge against inflation and build wealth for your retirement and legacy for your children. Number two, local consumer incomes. Now, I remember back in 2006, when I first came to the Bay Area, I worked as a software engineer, and my entry-level salary was about $60,000 with a bachelor's degree. And with a master's degree, your starting salary would be $90K. And at that time, the average home price in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, was about $600,000 to $1 million, depending on the location. Then, as you know, right around that time, the Silicon Valley tech companies were going through another round of tech revolutions. Old legacy companies like Cisco, Oracle, Tel Labs, HP, Intel, they left the spotlight. And companies like Google, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Nvidia, they all step up and become the new highest paying companies with techs like big data, cloud computing, machine learning. The average salary that they were offering to new grads were insane, like 120K to start, plus benefits and stocks. And that was only 6 years later in 2012. So, in fact, if you look at the history of Silicon Valley, there has been several notable tech revolutions, and each time it boosts the local salary and create lots of millionaires. And we're talking about computer revolutions, the internet revolutions, the big data, and now we're in the AI phase. Hundreds of startups are getting acquired or going IPO during each wave of revolution. Lots and lots of people with humble beginnings have become millionaires here. And Bay Area truly is a unique place to chase dreams and change lives. With that, Bay Area's home price has gone from being the nation's average in the 90s to now being the most expensive market in the US, which is about three times the current national's average, all because of locals can support it with their salary. I once had a client express to me that, Bojie, what I'm doing here is making me 150K, but the same job in Orlando, Florida will pay me 120K. With only $30,000 less in Orlando, the home price in Orlando is three times less than in San Jose. How is that making sense? To which I said, you're right. You're making 150K here versus 120K in Florida. But look around here. Look around in your office building. Look around in your apartment complex. Everybody here is making 150K or more. You making 150K here, this is just making you the average income. However, if you're in Orlando, Florida, you're making 120K there, and then you look around, everybody there's making 80K. That literally make you the top 10% earner. And therefore, the home price here versus Orlando, it is conforming to the average salary, not just your specific salary. And therefore, the home price here is that much more expensive than Orlando, and it's not a bubble. If the market is completely relying on rich out of state buyers, then it is a bubble. It's not sustainable. Therefore, the locals' income is the key factors that will sustain a local real estate market growth. Number three, land availability, which is another local economic factors. Real estate prices supply and demand, and no matter what property to build, you need land first and foremost. This makes land availability one of the key elements when it comes to real estate market. Markets like New York City, Bay Area, Seattle, even Hong Kong are known to have no land to develop any new project. Therefore, if you want prime location, that's it. You got to pay premium price for it. Number four is the city's infrastructure. Like I previously mentioned, the key to a higher real estate price is higher local incomes. So, what would make a city attract massive higher income jobs? Well, the answer is that the city's infrastructure is the key. This includes a lot of things, such as the weather, the local political climate, the quality of higher educations, the presence of international airport, the proximity to other major big cities, and etc. The reason why Bay Area attracts a lot of high-paying tech jobs is due to the combination of above-mentioned factors and the fact that it is far enough from other big economic centers. It attracts top talents from around the world and keep them there. Recently, one of my friends who lives in Frisco, Texas, was asking me. He was saying that Universal Studio in Orlando is expanding its brand to Texas by building a huge theme park in Frisco, Texas. So with that, he was wondering if that would increase the value of his home from $650,000 to $850,000, $200,000 appreciation that he's hoping for. I said, no, that's not going to happen because of that specific news. Number one, the theme park is not creating a lot of high paying jobs in your local area. They're just creating a bunch of mediocre paying jobs. Number two, you have plenty of empty lands to build properties on. So there is no land scarcity. So you're hoping for a literally 25% increase in property value. That this type of increase is very, very unheard of in any real estate market. And if you want to see that level of appreciation, this Universal Studio expansion alone is not going to make it happen. If you hold on to this property for a couple of decades, you might see that appreciation over time, or simply as a result of inflation. So, but don't wait for it. So this is an example of how a city infrastructure is going to support or not support the specific type of growth that you're looking for in real estate. Number 5, rezoning. Rezoning can certainly affect the value of your home for better or for worse. Rezoning is basically a process of the government changing the usage of a piece of land. And when the zoning is residential, that means this piece of land can only be used to build residential properties. And when the zoning changes to commercial or industrial, it means now this area can be used to build commercial, retail, strip malls, or industrial warehouses, and etc. Now, these things can affect the value of your home. Now, I know a guy, and his place was once a small pocket of residential neighborhood. And over the years, the zoning changed to commercial. Lots of his neighbors have sold and moved on, but he stayed. So now his home is one of the only 4 left in that pocket. And they are currently being surrounded by Starbucks, dry cleaning, and restaurants and other small businesses. He's kind of in a dilemma now because since the zoning changes, whoever wants to buy his home has to go get a commercial loan because the zoning is no longer residential. However, it is not currently a rental property either. So it's not producing incomes to qualify for a commercial loan. So does his home value increase or decrease? Well, for primary residence usage, this zoning change definitely hurt him. So be on top of your local development, and zoning update is always important. Number 6, property condition and size. This is an individual factor and it's a no-brainer. Generally speaking, with everything else being equal, the better the home condition it is, the more expensive the home is. The bigger the home, the more valuable it is. This would apply to both primary homes and income-producing homes. You see, if the property has nicer upgrades and or bigger, it would make the buyer want to pay more, and at the same time will make the renter want to pay more rent, and therefore creates more rental incomes and increase the value of your rental property. Now, compared to other key factors that I listed before, property condition and size can be relatively easier to change than economic factors, locations, and zonings. Therefore, this factor is the easiest to implement and the least important for property value appreciation. Keep in mind, real estate property value always comes with 2 parts: the location itself and the building on top of the location. The value of the location is determined by global and local economic factors, like I listed before, which individual owners have very little control over. Yet, it will give you the biggest appreciation without you having to do anything special about it. Therefore, when it comes to real estate investing, location is always before the property condition itself. Remember, the majority value is always in the land. That's why I put property condition and size as the last factor that affects home values. Overall, real estate appreciation is a long-term process because the economic changes that would affect the real estate market is a long process too. Therefore, when you are buying a piece of real estate and hoping for appreciations, don't expect huge appreciation immediately. And also, don't expect one local change will send your home value to the moon either. Real estate is a long-term investment and a long-term lifestyle change. So be ready to commit to your financial obligation as the homeowner and set the right expectation. More importantly, research the market, which I have a list of videos for. Just search through my channels and you'll find them. All right. Curious to learn more about how real estate works? Hit that subscribe button and join our community for more insight into building wealth through real estate. If you have any more questions about real estate, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and my contact information is down in the description. All right, that's it for the day, and see you in the next video.